Detroit Lions beat the Chicago Bears in the last minutes of the game. Thank you for liking, for commenting, and subscribing to Let's Talk Lions. I appreciate it. Thank you for being here. Earlier, I released initial reaction to the game right after it happened, right after we took the W. Check it out here if you'd like to watch that. This is a breakdown of the game itself, a little bit more in depth as to what we saw, because obviously my initial reaction is, oh my God, how did that happen? But in this video, we're going to break down the game, break down a lot of what we saw from our side of the ball. First and foremost, Chicago, I am sorry. I am sorry for you because that sucks. You guys had the game in the bag. It kind of reminds me of the way that we lost the first game to you. A game that we shouldn't have lost. The same way for you, Chicago fans, you should not have lost this game to the Lions. So for that, I am sorry. That does suck when you are trying to finish out a game. And believe me, nobody knows it better than us Lions fans as to what it means to blow a game in the fourth quarter. So, hey, my condolences to you, Chicago. Now, let's take a step back. As a Detroit Lions fan, my friends, my fans, we're in the hunt for a wild card spot. Kind of a mind-blowing thing to say because pessimism runs in the DNA of Lions fans. It just does. After 50 years of heartache and heartbreak, you could tell that it's just something that runs in the DNA. But let's just take a second to understand the fact that we are actually in the wild card hunt with an interim head coach, missing Kenny Golladay, missing Swift, missing Trey Flowers. Been a weird year. And the fact that we are even running after a wild card spot is impeccable. And it's something to be... I know that some of you out there are like, hey, let's just lose. No, I do not agree with that. I would like to see us continue to win. And we have a tough road ahead. I'm talking Green Bay, Tennessee, Tampa Bay, and the Vikings. And if there's one thing that many of these teams have, it's a running game. You know what we don't have? A running defense. Let's look at this Bears game, for example. We could not stop the run. Anytime they handed the ball off, they were getting 4, 5, 6, 7 yards or more. And as our defense is tackling, they just kept powering for an extra yard or two every time. It was incredibly frustrating. The Bears played the better game. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. They did. Look at the stats. Look at the way they played. Watch the entirety of the game. The first half, our defense was abysmal. Non-existent. I'm talking a ghost in a graveyard. They just weren't there. We were just getting run through over and over again, whether that was Patterson, Montgomery. It doesn't matter. We were getting run through. It was absurd, at least for the first half. We move into the third quarter where Chicago has statistically struggled all season. And we did better than the first half, but nothing to write home about. In fact, it was still kind of like, oh man, our defense is not getting it going. We roll into the fourth quarter, and our defense decided, you know what? Let's play some football. Whatever. And our defense showed up when it mattered. They did not quit, and that is what helped us seal the W. Because our offense looked fine all game. It wasn't our offense. It hasn't been our offense all year. Our defense is what has been killing us. Just allowing and allowing and allowing yards upon yards. Our defense has been abysmal this year. This game also showed it until the fourth quarter when Everson Griffin decides to show up, does a solid spin move, taking Trubisky down. We look at the strip sack at the end of the game, and then stopping that last 1 yard run with 11, 12 seconds left. Incredible defense. You did it. You showed up in the fourth quarter. You didn't quit, Winston Churchill style, and that's what it takes to put a W on the board. Offense had a day. You look at Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford's stats, very interesting. Watching the whole game, it did not feel like he threw for 400 yards. The way that the game sort of transpired, there were some deep balls he threw that definitely accounted for a lot more of that yardage, because all in all, he didn't seem like he had a 400-yard game. Correct me if I'm wrong, But me watching it, I expected it to be about, 300, 320, which is a good game. At the end of the game, when they showed the stat of 402, I was like, what? I think what it was his completion percentage was less than normal. Stafford went 27 for 42 with 402 yards, and he threw for a 64% completion percentage. And that's what I think it was. His completion percentage felt less than. It was less than his average, his normal. And so that's why I felt like at the end of the game, I was like, Stafford didn't have a great game. Yeah, he did. He did. So I do take that back. Stafford played really well. He threw for 3 TDs, and then he had that one pick where the big boy just one-handed that. It was incredible. I mean, honestly, kudos to that guy. That was really nice. Without DeAndre Swift, there is a huge hole in our running game, but AP had 16 attempts. He ran for 57 yards, averaging out at about 3.6 yards a carry, and he had 2 rushing TDs. AP did show up to be what we needed him to be today, and that was a sledgehammer. That was just constantly pushing. With 16 attempts, Kerryon Johnson barely saw the ball in comparison to that. And so, thank God for AP. Way to keep us afloat on the running side of the ball. Quintez Cephus went 2 for 4 with 63 yards, and that TD, his first ever recorded. Well done, my man. Looked like he was just having fun. And TJ Hockenson. Hockenson had a day. Hockenson is probably the most consistent player that we have on the offensive side of the ball right now. He has been the most consistent in the fact that he went 7 for 9, totaling up at 84 yards, which is roughly 12 yards per reception. Hockenson has been the most consistent thing on our offense this season. He is always putting in the hard work, making plays, and really adding so much more to our tight end squad, something that we haven't had in years, Ebron. And so having Hockenson has been huge for the Lions. It's been huge for Stafford. He's the guy, you can see it, that Stafford looks for in a lot of these tight situations. Hockenson had a good game. Well done, Hack. Chicago, you should have walked away with the W, but it turns out in the game of football, anything can happen. You know what? Chicago played the better game all game until the last 4 minutes, 2 minutes of the game when really Detroit decided to show up. You could tell that Chicago was playing soft D going up in that last 4 minute, really our last drive. They started playing a lot softer because in their eyes, you have to get the ball back and hold on to it from 2 minutes and under because you don't want Stafford to have the ball in under 2 minutes. That is where Stafford shines. It's where he rolls a natural 20, dealing critical damage to the enemy. That's right, little D&D reference. Put it in the books. We are officially back in the hunt. Obviously, it's not going to be an easy road. We have some tough games coming up starting next week with Green Bay. We have struggled stopping the run all year. Maybe that fourth quarter will bleed into next week, but hey, we will see how it goes. It's a bummer Minnesota won. Jacksonville, you couldn't do us a solid and pull out that W. It really hurt us there. You know what? It's good to see the boys gelling. It's good to see them having fun. And it's good to see a W up on the board. All in all, sorry, Chicago. The game was yours. Ended stiffly for you. But it feels like after week 1, you know what? We've each had our moments this year. First time we put a W up against them since 2017. I think it was December 16th, 2017. Been a couple years. So, boys in blue needed this. I will catch you later this week where we will break down the game coming up against the Green Bay Packers and what it's going to take to win. But until then, boys, girls, men, women, friends, Lions fans, enjoy that W. And I will catch you next time on Let's Talk Lions.